Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the European crossover webinar. And sorry for the delay. Dog wanted to walk outside, and when the dog wants to tell you he wants to go outside, you better hurry up and let him go. So apologize for the 1 minute delay. So we did go in and get the market services PMI final, 53.5. Good numbers. You can see here the euro pushing right up as its highs at 9.99. Right there's that peak. It comes in at right there, 997. Let's go and move this out of the way. There we go. And we do have, if you saw here, upcoming data, we do have retail sales coming up at the next top of the hour, but good numbers here coming out of Europe. Good numbers. Now, on the German numbers, it came in strong, but what I did hear on the squawk was that new orders came in weaker. So not a surprise there. And whether or not we take a pause from this area, if we look here, that comes in right there at 96. That's 97. Maybe we can make one little move up just above it before we take a little bit of a rest. Do you see the dollar peso coming back? We remember we covered that, and we're looking for a move lower here. And since the beginning of the week, we said peso closed on minor support level 20.05. We're looking potentially for a move, a pullback to 1985 with solid support coming in at 1967. So I think you can see right here at 1967, right there. You see some pretty good volume coming across here. I think that's where we can get to, and then we'll probably see a decent little bounce or a bit of short covering here. Euro's still trying to push up a little bit higher, maybe right there. We just tagged right, which is, if you look at that, there's the old high right there. So it's basically we just met it, and we'll see if maybe we take a little bit of a pause against that. Although the dollar's already slipped below that 98.84. Dollar CAD continued to be a little bit weaker from here, just a touch bit. And we'll take a look here with the bunds. They've eased back just a bit on these better numbers. Just a bit. And gold still holding relatively steady. So it has just eased back just a bit after that mercurial run yesterday. And you can see here now, look at the euro just turning back a little bit after just tagging right up there and meeting that same level right there. Right there, might have taken it out by half of a pip. We've slid off, not a whole lot, but we've slid off right now 6 pips. But I was thinking we could move into higher into the data and then start these back now about 7 pips off of those levels. And Aussie dollar is still holding up pretty well. We got above that 67.53. We've continued to move higher here. Once again, the peso still remains weaker. We'll go and take a real quick look at the cross rates. Euro also continues to be hugging this low right here at the 62 cents even. And Guppy's finally moved up here, but we're into some resistance here at this 29.09 here. So let's go on and move back into the main screen. Already seen now slide back down to 987. So off about 10 pips now, pairing back from that pretty well expected right here in that move. Let's go and take a look real quick on the quick news. Hopes for Brexit delay rally pound and dollar slips on the U.S. factory data. The British pound bounced on Wednesday in the wake of a parliamentary vote opening the door for another Brexit delay, while the dollar drifted lower after weak manufacturing data stoked wagers on aggressive U.S. policy easing. The greenback's doldrums helped the Australian dollar shine when the June quarter economic growth, while soft, was in line with forecasts. Sterling pushed to a near three-year low on Wednesday, climbed almost 2/10 against the dollar to 121 and firmed against the euro. I think it's a real opportunity for the pound, said Nick Tooldale, director, Sydney FX Brokerage. He said the rise is driven by British lawmakers voting to defy Prime Minister Boris Johnson to put a proposal delaying Britain's exit from the European Union beyond October on Parliament's agenda on Wednesday. It's now opens up the possibility again of, I suppose, the extreme would be a no Brexit, but a softer Brexit, Trudell said. We priced in so much of a hard Brexit with Boris Johnson coming in that I think there's a real opportunity for some sterling's appreciation. On Tuesday, sterling dropped under 120 and hit its lowest since a flash crash in October 2016. And the outlook is pretty cloudy. Johnson said he would now push for a snap election, which would yet another major source of uncertainty. The dollar gave up a two-year high touched on Wednesday against the basket of currencies. Remember, we showed that there was a 127% extension at 94.40, and we also had a resistance level at 94.44. They were looking at with the basic technical over the weekend. Dollar index to trade down to 98.91, giving around ground to the yuan. The yen weakened slightly to 106.11 per dollar after Bank of Japan board members said the central bank must preemptively ease monetary policy to fend off risk to the economy. The dollar's pullback was prompted by manufacturing activity in the world's biggest economy, contracting for the first time in 3 years last month, according to data from the Institute of Supply Management. That knocked the wind out of the previously rising greenback and rallied the bond market as investors increased bets on a couple of Federal Reserve rate cuts before Christmas. 25 basis point cut is now fully priced in, while yields on the benchmark 10-year treasuries, which fall when prices rise, dropped to their lowest in 2 years. The expectation that the Fed will come to the rescue has increased, said Rodrigo Catril, but it's not a capitulation on the dollar. It's just merely stopped the recent rise of the dollar. The dollar's weakness helped pull the yuan from an 11-year low to 7.1669 per dollar. Its rise was tempered as traders kept a wary eye on trade risk with President Trump promising a tougher line on Beijing if trade talks drag on. So with that, and we can see here that cable's still moving higher. It looks like we can still make it up here at about 21.74. Still a bit of a push there. Let's take a look here with the euro. We already come off from this level. And you can see we had resistance coming in right there, a level at 109, not even bad, basically 110, but we got up as high as right there. You see how we just nicked that same level there, and now we backed off a bit here, backed off now by nearly 12 pips. Resistance is, we'll just put it clear as can be, it's 110. We'll see if we see anything else here on the. That's what we were looking for, was 997. So we'll go with that 997. That's what I was looking at them to test. Support will come in right there, 960. Actually, which was resistance yesterday. Well, basically, almost the same. It's going to be 965. Now let's go move into cable. Nice little resistance level right there, 2163. We're still pressed up here. Remember I mentioned here this 2174. I like this 2174. You can see the touches coming across here. So we're going to go with the 2174 for the bias chart resistance, which also comes in with the 61%. And for support, this level right there will be 2118. Let's move into the Aussie dollar. You can see that level coming in right there at 6803, 6802. Let's take a look here on the 2-hour chart. We finally got things moving around here a little bit higher with the Aussie. Actually 67.97, 67.97. And for support, the support coming right here at 67.42. You see all these touches, but as oversold as this market is, I think any dips back, they would try and cover that. So we'll go with this 67.53. And let's go move on to the Kiwi. Same thing here. We're just trying to bounce around here. It's a little bit tighter here. Let's take a look here with the 2-hour chart. I'll go right there, 63.79. And support coming in right there, 63.16. We talked about the significance of this 33.36, and we had gotten above it. And yesterday I was on Face, and um, we were right here at the 33.82 area. And I thought that, I mentioned that I thought we'd see, although the potential was now to move to 34.15, although we didn't close above 33.36 on the 2-hour. I thought that was a good area for some longs to lay off some of their gains, and certainly we saw that. Obviously, the data that we came out in the U.S. certainly helped in pushing that lower at that point. And right now we're still stuck with this area here. Now we're pressing up against here. If the dollar were to gain again, it'll be this 33.82. And you can see that, and that kept it right there. So we'll keep this here since it's hanging around 33.36 with the dollar, puts in a little bit of rebound. Maybe we'll make another push higher, but you can see here we already have essentially almost like it's a gravestone doji. The wick's a little bit long on the body, but you can see here that this market is struggling. It just can't. I think we may have trapped some people that may have bought as we exited, not as we exited, but as we moved higher above 33.36, and maybe stuck in their positions now. So potentially there's that move lower. For a move lower, it's still going to be 33 even. And there's a little bit of support, minor support coming here at 33.14. Looks like 15. Looks like we almost made it down there too. Looks like we may have got down to 17 and we pop right back up. The real support, if they come down challenge, is going to be that 33.01. So no changes here on the dollar CAD. Moment. Let's go into the dollar peso. This is what I came up with this 1967. So we talked about that, how the market had closed down here at the 2005 and opened the door for a pullback. For starters, 1985 with strong support at 1967. And that's going to be our support here. You can see here, and I said solid support. You can see that right there, 1967 even. We might see a bounce in between. Um, you can see here right here at 1975. Actually, I already made a tag towards that. You see right here. Um, and we've jumped up just above it. I mean, we almost made it to 1975, just a whisper just above it, 75 and a half. But we'll go with this 1967 real solid support with potential move down there. We'll go right there with the resistance at 1989. Dollar yen is just simply stuck in the mud. It's just not doing anything. No changes here in the dollar yen. I don't see nothing changing here. Um, that's going to remain the same. No changes. With that, we'll move into the cash dollar index. Well, we had 99.44 as our bias chart resistance yesterday. And when I was on face, I pointed out here that the 99.40 was 127% extension here. So we've seen the market go and pair back. Um, now, we did come down here to this right there. You see that at 92, we paired back. There's some additional support here. That was the initial line here. We did make a stand there, but this is where that additional support, we just overshot that here. Comes in at 98.80, and we're just a bit below that. We're above it now, but I mean, we just tagged just a bit below it. That may have coincided with the euro getting up to 9.97. We can look at what kind of a pullback we may see. We already talked about this. You see these on Fridays. I've seen this before, and where I remembered it so well was when we were traded at 97 and 60, about 97.75, 97.65, 97 back and forth. And then all of a sudden, the last one, it just drops on the very last, 5 minutes or whatever the day. And you can't really count that. So here's your low here, your real low of this move. So we just went past the 23% here. You see that. And 38% would be 98.54. We'll go and mark that off. And UK services data is coming up. So here, and remember, we just talked about that. Look, we saw that move. We're looking for 21.74. It looks like we made up as high as what? 21.69. UK services data coming out. Yeah, we made it to 21.64. 55.6. Kind of holding in here. Getting back to the cash dollar index. Okay. But we've got a nice little area of support here, and that's where we've seen the euro take a bit of a pause here. And let's go into this. Speaking of which, we'll just go and mark this also. And with that, we're going to move into the cross rates. So we just about hit that right there. And that's going to be our resistance for today. And we just about tagged it already. 67.55. With support coming in, actually right there. Basically, that's where you know your risk is at. 67.05. And let's go in and take a look here with the euro yen. Well, finally, we're starting to see, obviously, a little bit of life come into the euro. And this is what we're going to take a look at with the euro. Bear with me. We just went right past this 38%. Actually, a decent level right there too. If we can stretch it, it'd be 1688 right there. So 1688. And what was probably resistance before is going to be support, which is at 1648. Maybe just a hair bit look right there. You see there? Probably, and maybe potentially tag right there on that line. So let's go with 1645. 1645. And let's take a look here with the euro odd. With the odd strength, and even with the move that we've seen here, look at the Aussie yen. Even with the move we've seen with the euro, it's nothing compared to the strength that we've seen here with the Aussie. Well, you can see how this is playing out. Look, um, here's the euro now starting to move higher, and it's not even. It's almost like as if the old "I've fallen, I can't get up" scenario here. The euro versus the odd, no movement. Um, and here's that big area that we've talked about, that 62 even. And boy, we had a pretty big fall yesterday. Look at that. And this wasn't right because certainly we were way below that from history. So the support would be right there. Actually, look at today's support right here, 61.89. With resistance, this thing is barely the move. It's quite the fall from grace. If we right there at 62.37. And let's go move into the euro kiwi. But we've continued to lose ground here. And we are into an area of support here, coming right there. You can see all the volume touches right there, which is going to be 72.95. And that will be resistance here if we push any further. It's going to be 73.66. And let's go move into the ASEAN. Right there, 72.54. Let's take a look here on the 2-hour chart. Yep. So the 2-hour just goes just a hair bit higher. 72.57. Support comes in right there. 71.44. And next up for the guppy. And right there, 29.14. We actually just tagged this, so it's 29.15. We may have already had that already. 29.15. Can move the support up in here, dips back, and he'll be supported. It's going to be right there, 28.20. With me. Let's see, starting odd. If we can get a little bit further push here with sterling on the back of this change, it's actually going to come right up to here. It's going to be 79.56. It's going to be 78.30. Let's go and take a look here on the buns. Have seen these pair back, but they just got finished making another brand new high. So things haven't changed here with the buns. And gold's still holding up pretty steady in light of, I mean, you thought we did make a pretty decent little run here back in gold after silver made this pop, but it's not like we went to brand new highs here. Taking it back here, we are now above 110 now here in the euro. We just got above 110. So keep an eye on this 1017 here. That's a 38% if we do make that run up in here. 1017. We do have Eurozone retail sales at the top of the hour. Reuters closed negative 0.6%, prior was 1.1. And then later today at 8:30 Eastern, we do have Canadian trade balance, ISM New York Index, 9:45 Eastern. Bank of Canada is at 10 a.m. Eastern. That's all we have for today, and we'll see you tomorrow, or if you join us here on the FX Daily Roundup. And I guess right now, I mean, we are above that 997. I guess it's a target they'd like to shoot for. Let's just go and adjust that on the upside here to 1017, because that's a 38%, and then they're already above it. It looks like, and especially with data coming up, that will give them a target to go for, that 1017, which is 38%. So here's the bias chart. We do have data at the top of the hour, and we'll give them a pretty good little target to shoot for. And when we got to 1097, which was a good area, it's not like as if we pulled back a little bit, but we didn't pull back very much, so they can maybe still make one more stab to this 1017.